Welcome to this edition of the G-Spot. The G-Spot is all about your genius, your grace and greatness. And we are here as a catalyst for all three of those. This is founded by the House of Preeminence. I am your host, Jenny P. Tonight, we are going to be diving in everything, not just high performance, but just wait and see. Buckle up, ladies, and settle down. And you can get excited because you know that I am an absolute geek about high performance, and I have somebody really special who is going to take that to a whole new level for you and really ground in why using this as a way of life and a lifestyle and an aspiration is so important. My next guest is an international speaker. He is a very, very sought after expert on innovation, business innovation. His whole passion, everything that he does in life is around not just high performance, but ultra performance. He does some crazy things with other people, takes other people on crazy adventures as well. I mean, like cycling off mountaintops at night and speed records, all sorts of things. He's going to tell you much better than I do. Welcome, my dear new friend, Marc Amerigo. Hope I pronounced that right.
Yes, it's great to be here with you, Jenny. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm very honored.
Okay, let's dive straight in. So I've noticed very in recent months, probably this year actually, as high performance as a principle that businesses are taking on more and more. You know, like Google and Microsoft and all these huge companies, they now have high performance and flow and all of these, these sciences actually part of their company culture, whereby 10 years ago, nobody'd practically heard of them, let alone being talked about in the boardroom. So I'm fascinated by where this is going. It seems that this is because I've heard of high performance, I've heard of peak performance, I've heard of optimum performance, and you are in the field of ultra performance. So can you just clarify what, if there's a difference, what they and how they apply, especially for our audience who are aspiring, ambitious entrepreneurs, innovators, and and change makers?
It's like a new field. It's always about pushing further, performance plus. And I would say that ultra performance is all about bringing back the human in the game. It's not about pushing the limits once more. It's just combining the technical side, the fact that we can push technical dimension as fast and as far as we can. But in the meantime, it's about really bringing back the connection bringing back people being connected to themselves, to their environment, to the people around them, having some kind of collective flow and power. So it's going farther, but in a different way. So it's not the exact same thing as pure performance.
Okay. I'm beginning to understand the differences, because we know I use the expression in the magazine high performance because most entrepreneurs, where they are, meeting them where they're at, already are at a level where to live their best lives as themselves and to express their highest potential is already enormous. So I'm really fascinated by this as a philosophy, because I know that this on your website, this is a way of life. This is an approach to life, isn't it? And I'm really excited about that idea because it rejoins my own philosophy that high performance is nothing more than lifestyle as well. Obviously, it's innovation and technology, and it's not quite as simple, but nevertheless, it does come down to the human dimension.
And human dimension is where all the potential is. When it's about pushing the limit and pushing the technical side of any project, it's quite easy, I would say. You find the best experts on the planet, whatever you need, and you will find them. There are many of them in any field. That can be on the technical side, that can be about organization, that can be about using lawyers, top level lawyers, any field, organization, any field, you can find this kind of people, men and women. But in the meantime, being able to play on those both dimensions, in the meantime, pushing these limits at the very high level, breaking world records is a very high level of performance. Of course, it's never been done before. But in the meantime, it's about putting the human at the center of the priority, the human fulfillment. The fact that every single person involved in your project will feel great, will feel so connected to the others, will find sense in what they do, without the pressure, without judging the others, with egos going down. You know, it's a lot about having a lifestyle, a deep connection, and in the meantime, performing at a very high level. It's a lot like being connected to the elements, being connected to nature, feeling connected to this kind of balance of where it goes well. You know, you're like touching the flow, this flow state all the time. So this combination of technical side and human sensitivity to anything around you, being like totally open to opportunities, to connections, brings a whole new level. And when you really want to achieve the highest level that you can imagine, being the best of the best of what you can be and who you can be, it's about being connected to everything around us. There's no, you cannot be, nothing can be fake. It has to be like fully authentic. So that's why it is, you know, this, it's all about going like really far in terms of performance, but in the meantime, being highly connected. And it's like a philosophy. So the whole point is not being alone doing that, but bringing people with you in this kind of journey. Does it make sense? How do you see that?
You said that to me when we last talked. You said the actual, in your own words, you said something like that the project is not the point, almost that it's the point. It's the journey. Yeah. So just to, expand on that a little bit, because it's fascinating.
I'll give you an example. Let's say that you want to perform at a very high level. So for that, you have some targets and you have some numbers. You want to achieve that rate of growth. You want to achieve and go on that hill up there. So it becomes like a real clear objective, and you want to go there, and you will go there. And you forget about every kind of opportunity around you. You're just organizing your schedule, agenda, meetings, people you meet, the best experts, and you go there, and you're very happy to hit your targets, and you're on the hill. So it's a great moment. But at this very moment, when you look around you, you just find out that you're just on the hill, and you got mountains all over the place. So you've been there, you've done your journey, you hit the target, and you performed well because you wanted to do that. But you lost so many opportunities along the road just because we are trained for going to what we wanted to do. You know, there's nothing around. You cannot grab these opportunities, these little things that will make that you will go higher and higher than you can even imagine. So that's why it is. So it's kind of combination of having some kind of vision at a very high level without really clear targets. You know, it's around there, but you don't really know how you're going to get that, how you're going to go there, how you're going to have to innovate. As an example, on the project that I'm running with a great champion. So it's been 25 times world champion, windsurfing. And our purpose is to beat the overall sailing speed record, which is at about 121 kilometers an hour. So it's something like 65, 68 miles an hour. And so we need so many people around us. So at this point, after 1 year of projects during the pandemic, so we got people from San Diego, San Francisco, Hawaii, New Caledonia, all over Europe. So, and it's about like 50 companies. all these guys work together. We know that we're going to do that in the next 3 years. And I can tell you, I'm in charge of the project. I have absolutely no clue of what this engine will be. I have no idea. I just know that it's feasible, but we will have to invent new sails, new speed suits, new boards, new foils. Everything has to be invented with many technical problems like cavitation, ventilations, many problems. But what we know is that all this energy is pointing on this big vision, which is like a real breakthrough. We're going to go there, and that will be even better than we can imagine. We have no idea. It's like going to Mars.
I love this because it's really almost a beautiful metaphor for the entrepreneurial journey, which is that you're building the plane as you go along. Just
Exactly.
literally building the plane as you go along.
Exactly.
And obviously the vision is important, because nothing happens without a vision. Was whose vision was that? Marc, was this yours? Was it a collective vision? Was it the champion's vision?
No, it was my vision, and then it became more clear every single time that someone joined the process. So you got many experts, as I told you, in many different fields: aerodynamics, hydrodynamics, vibrations. Artificial intelligence, animation, movies, and many guys from many fields. But step by step, it becomes more and more feasible. We don't know exactly how we're going to make it, but it becomes feasible. So you have like a very global vision, and step by step, you know how it might be. But the very, I would say, disruptive point, because here we are here to talk about the unknown and explore things. And what I will tell you is very special. I have a vision. There is some big blocks of strategy, but in the meantime, it's like a no plan zone. What I mean by that is that everything is activated at some point. Then there is some kind of black hole of connection. And at some point, every single person like this is like reactivated and fully engaged, because that's the moment where they step in and they step into the flow. And all these things come up depending on the feeling, the intuition of what's going to happen, what's the next step. It's not that clear, but I can tell you that my agenda is totally empty for the next 6 months, 1 year. It's every single thing steps into the game when needed. Mm. Because one thing that is very important as an entrepreneur is you can really organize everything. But as soon as you organize something, that you plan something very precisely, you are limited. You limit your potential, because you will just do what you plan to do. You know, I'm going outside to run, and I plan to run at 10 kilometers an hour. Maybe I might run at like 8, then 18, then 6, and then 25, and then back to 10, with like so much pleasure. In the meantime, if you plan to run at 10, you won't have any surprise. You will be running at 10 for an hour, you know? So it's really being in this kind of flow of connection, of people, of opportunities, and playing with the universe somehow.
There are so many lessons in this that I can think of that apply to, you know, to my audience, to entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs are a force to be reckoned with now in the world. And I'm fascinated with this collective dimension, because obviously we know actually never more than ever how much we need to collaborate with people, and the communication skills and the relationship skills, and especially at this level of innovation is absolutely crucial.
Exactly. And I would say that there is even one thing that is maybe more important than anything, is that on one side, we can see that women are not, I would say, helped or educated or trained for being entrepreneurs. I would say, especially, let's say, maybe in Africa, for example, or some many places in the world, because of our society. But in the meantime, what I'm really using every single day is a lot of feminine energy, feeling your environment, being connected. Yeah, I mean, it's very important. And today we have to play in those dimensions. On one side is some kind of, the yin and the yang is something that is really serious. It's about combining those two. Women are strong enough to be men and women. And in the meantime, men are sweet, connected enough, feminine enough to be on both dimensions as well. And if you have this potential of really pushing the technical side, and in the meantime, your potential to connect to the others and your environment and bring them in this kind of challenge, in this kind of recovery, I would say, anything is possible. Anything becomes possible for men and women.
That is so interesting, because from an outside point of view, knowing very, very, I'm getting to know the intricacies now, but when I first saw the Zephyr project and the scale of it, the companies involved, everything, it's like, whoa, that feels so masculine. It feels so linear and logic and structured and everything that is yang energy. And you're inviting us to know that actually and again, it's not about men and women, is it? It's purely an energetic thing, like relationship skills and intuition and
absolutely,
and collaboration as well, because women are great collaborators, and all of those things are so key. This is so interesting.
So for you to understand that even more, the Zephyr project has a very young energy in about breaking a world record. Who cares? Who cares about going faster than ever when sailing, actually? But the point is that nature is like playing with us. If we want to go that fast, we need to crack the code of the elements. The elements don't want us to go that fast on the water with just a man and a sail and a board, because of what I told you, because the viscosity of the water, because the air and the aerodynamics, I mean, nothing helps us. But in the meantime, when you look at a bird and a falcon falling down, this bird is able to go at about 350 kilometers an hour, because it's able to change its shape and play with the elements, play with the wind, and for some birds go through the water and catch a fish. A bird is not here to go into the water and catch a fish, but these birds are able to do that. And what we're playing with is to try to understand, using technology at the highest level. So we use artificial intelligence, we use data measurements on board, we use connections with the feelings of the rider. We want the rider to be connected to the machine, to be like a new live ensemble, a live machine. We want to do that because we want this whole thing to be connected enough to the nature to crack the code, to go faster than ever. So that's where the challenge is. We really need to understand what happens with the elements. So it's about being connected to the universe. It's about decoding,
That is so true from what I've been studying about guys in wingsuits and ultra performance sports and everything, and then the history of extreme sports, and how impossible records just keep getting broken all of the time, and a lot of that is about the element. It is about our natural world and our place in it.
Yes, and a great sensitivity. You need to feel what's around you. You need strength, And in the meantime, it's like being connected to what's around you. And in extreme sports, I mean, what's very interesting, for example, with Antoine Albo, this guy is 100 kilos, great, tough guy. But when you see him on the water, is like an animal. You know, he's so connected. It's like everything is fluidity. And that's what we want to explore, really understand how it happens, how can you do that, and how we can go faster. So it's really about gliding sports and water sports and exploring new dimensions. So it's not just pushing hard and having a bigger sail and a stronger man. That's the total opposite. We want Antoine not to have some more weight on him. We just want Antoine by himself, and going through the elements. So it's really a big journey about connecting to nature.
How wonderful.
And it's a big challenge. I mean, it's like going to the moon, you know, going to Mars. It's a crazy challenge about research and so on. So, yeah.
Yes. How amazing. And I'm interested when partners, kind of people who are involved in the project come on board, is how do they, I mean, how do you interview them? Do you have a methodology for the empowerment part? Is there a structure where you take them through the relationship, the working together, the collaboration, the group flow, all of that?
So what's quite surprising, I got a question from Niels Brabant, who's an expert in leadership, and he said, okay, so you've been visiting universities and finding the best profiles and choosing them, looking at CVs, interviewing them. And I said, absolutely not. Nothing happens like this. I play the game of the snowball. It's like you do something impactful. So you will have people looking at you. And among them, they are the best because they are curious about new things and big challenges. And it's all about picking them up. As soon as they show up and you're like, could be interesting. Let's explore. What's your idea? And I would say like 80% of the people involved today came up like this. Just cracking a mail or sending a message on LinkedIn and saying, I'm in charge of this, doing these big things, and your project is really insane. Can we talk about that? What could we do together? How can I help? And that's how it starts. And so that's the first step. The second step is to discuss with these people and just through the intuition, the feeling, seeing how they are interested. Are they interested for themselves, or are they interested because of the sense and the values and how they project themselves into the project? So it's not about them, it's about the vision. That's the second step. So they have to be good enough, like top experts of the planet. They have to be great souls, great people, and then they have to show that it's not about them. And when we are at this stage, it's already pretty good. Because the next step, I'm pretty confident, because they step in, they attend to the first meeting, and during this first meeting, they just find out what we talk about. It's not about egos, it's about a collective adventure, a collective journey. And it's about listening to each other, it's about non-judgment, it's about alternative leadership. When it's about one technical topic, this one becomes the one in charge. We are listened to because he's the guy, he's the woman, he knows, they know. So we have to listen to them. Okay, great. And that's how we move on. And so these people, most of the time, they are very technical. And they step in and they're like, these guys are really strange. It's not like usual. And then they step in, they are fully engaged. So that's the last step. Well, at some point, they have to, sometimes they have to wait for 6 months. So we talk together and like nothing happens. And the guy's like, hey, I'm Shira, what happens? I'm like, okay, no worries, it will come up soon. And then when it's their turn to be part of the journey, they are fully involved because it's natural. It's all good.
I really understand the dynamics, because that's exactly how the magazine, how Preeminence magazine is developing, with a completely insane vision and gathering momentum, because and I really absolutely identify with that.
And that's how great adventures start. You know, when you say we started in a garage, my garage, for building cars or whatever, or computers. And that's because you can create this kind of momentum. So for example, we play with that with the sponsorship and finding financial support. I chose on purpose not to activate them too early. So we are only doing this now 1 year after starting the project, because we've been able to hit something like 130 million people through the media, TVs, and what we've done. And we are ready now to look for some money and some financial support and sponsors. So it's so powerful that you can achieve like a lot with very few resources. And when you're an entrepreneur, you don't imagine how much you can do without, really big money or big resources. Our potential as human is huge, absolutely huge.
Yeah, I absolutely concur on all of those points. And it's so anybody out there who's got a vision as insane as Marc's or mine, this there has never been a better time. Just like
go for it,
build the plan as you go along. So I'd love to come back to one thing that is very, very popular now is the word flow. I've started asking women what flow means to them. And there are so many different interpretations of what flow is. Now, I understand what flow is from a neurochemical and neurobiological state. I've experienced flow so many times in my life without ever knowing what it was called or a name or anything. It just seemed like a breakthrough. But I'm understanding now how it is a science, and how deliberately using this science can really be so powerful enough in this expressing potential and going for a big vision. In fact, it's almost like now that I understand it, I almost like I need to get into flow every single day. There isn't. I'm done with days where there's no flow.
You get rid of them. It's pretty good.
So obviously we can't stay in flow all the time because we just absolutely burn out. But nevertheless, I'd love you to talk about flow a little bit, Marc, because I'm really talking about it at the moment, because it's a bit like the Grail. It's a bit like the Holy Grail at the moment, is this pursuit of flow. So in your own words, what has flow been to you?
So flow comes first from a whole set of, it's about the mindset first, what you have as a vision, the sense of it, how much you can be engaged in what you're doing. Flow state it fully involves your mind, like 100%. It's not 99, it's 100. So everything has to be aligned to allow you to be in this state. That's the first point. This kind of flow state is, I would say, the most powerful way of being in the present. Life is all about the present, being in the present. And it's not just a word. Being in the present is that it's all about what you're doing at the very moment. It's not about what you did 5 minutes before or day before, what you're going to have for food tonight, because your future will depend on this very second now at what you're doing, what you're feeling in the deepest of yourself, how you're acting. And this kind of flow state is this ability to be in total connection with what you're doing in the moment. Totally open to your kind of mission. You're totally focused on what you're doing. And I would say the most important maybe will be in everything that is around it, around this moment. How you prepared that, how you've been ready to forget about all the things around you that can make you step out of this state. So this flow state can be a very short period of time, for a few seconds or a few minutes, but it can be on a very long period of time. Because when you're really fully connected to the present moment, it's a kind of continuous flow state. When you really feel like everything is synchronicity, when you really feel like everything is like so powerful in what's happening in the connections, when people step in the game, the fact that what you do will have so much impact in the future, but you have no idea. There's no strategy. As soon as you're into a strategy, you're not in the flow anymore because you're thinking about the future. This kind of flow is like being fully connected in the present and in the meantime with every single second around your existence and your project and your future. You know, it's like your entire world, like just in the now. So that's my definition of flow. When you hit that, you're unstoppable because everything makes sense. You don't have any expectations. You know, you are so powerful in what you're doing that everything just like opens up. It's just natural. You know, you just feel great.
I just want to take a pause to weigh those words because I think it's so important. Because in this world where we're trying to control our monkey minds and the amount of chronic distractions that are coming at us all the time, I can't think of anything more important than focusing on creating flow and setting ourselves up to experience it.
You know, our worst enemy is this one. I mean, this thing just like comes into your life when people outside want it or because you program something, you know. So the best thing to do is just like switch it off. Really, like it's even on plane mode, because just being off, you got vibrations and you're influenced by what's happening in there. So switch it off, putting on the plane mode. The world won't stop. You won't miss anything. You know, this FOMO thing that we have, this fear of missing out anything around us. We've been like trained, educated. Our epigenetics just changed the human beings just because of this for the last, like we say, 20 years. You know, and
it's just insane.
It's insane, and it just like takes you off the reality of life. You know, I remember I have an example like that. It's very interesting. We're on the top of the mountains. It's in 2017. Eric Baron, I'm working with on the speed world record on a mountain bike. So just went down the hill. We broke the speed record with 228 kilometers an hour. So it goes down the hill. I'm in charge of the whole project. We're up there. We made it. We're so happy. It's over. You know, end of story. World record. All great. Everybody's happy. We have we drink some stuff up there. And after, I would say, 5 minutes of celebration, we got some guys up there just taking their phone, switching it on, taking pictures, putting on Facebook, Twitter, and so on and so on. And I got a call from the downhill the mountain, just like 1 kilometer away downhill. I can see them. They call me and they say, okay, Eric is going back up because he wants to go one more time downhill. because of the sponsor, he wanted to go downhill with a 360 degrees camera on his helmet. And everybody is just like out. We are not in the flow anymore, just like gone. And I have to stop all these guys, have the phone switch off, and have to bring them back in this energy, because this very last run might be the most dangerous, and it is the most dangerous, you know. So that's an example. I mean, everything went well. Eric went back up. We organized it and went well. All good. But I lost everybody. Everybody was gone because of, you know, being connected to other people and not being in the moment. You know, being just attending an incredible moment that would be on TV and so on, millions of views. Oh, wonderful, we're there, and pictures and pictures and pictures. You know, and that's a very great danger in life. You can die because of this.
Wow.
You know, so this flow state is so powerful and so such a jewel that get there, find it, explore it, cherish it, you know, and be in the moment.
Yeah, fabulous. Absolutely. Absolutely. Singing from the same hymn sheet.
An entrepreneur has to experience that.
Yes, they do.
It's a quest.
Over and over and over again, every single day.
If you're authentic, if you're really aligned with your life and your project and you feel good with it, you got people who trust you, you have trust in yourself, you know, you have confidence in what you're doing. Even if you have like difficult times, it's all okay. But as an entrepreneur, it's a lot about trust. It's a lot about confidence, and you have to build it up. Don't be teared apart through social media and people coming out from the blue and putting you away from your mission, from what you really feel in the deepest of yourself.
Mm.
That's a key point.
Yes, it is so key right now that we live by other people's agendas.
Exactly. Just like, you know, you choose, you can say no, and you have to say no very often.
You do absolutely. And I just want to, this is a beautiful way to conclude, is what would you say, Marc, to people out there who's going to listen to this, or the people who are either don't dare to dream big, they don't think, you know, that they can't imagine dreaming big or having a big dream or going after them, especially now after we've kind of the world's taken a knock. You know, we've been locked away and told that we can't do anything, and we can't go anywhere, and we can't say anything, and we, you know, and it feels like there's a kind of collective energy where, like, everything in that was about the kind of the early 2000s, when everything was about dreaming big and you could go after your dreams, and nothing was impossible, and it exploded the whole American personal development market, and people started to filter out into the people, except that it feels like it's barren at the moment. It feels like nobody dares to dream big again, or to think that they can do something amazing with their life apart from just achieving an income level. So what would you say to people, to our audience, to encourage them? Because preeminence is about that.
You know, from my point of view, saying to everybody that you can create Google is nonsense. You know, I don't know how to do that. I have no idea. But allowing ourselves to think big about us with what we have in the deepest of ourselves. Thinking big is about what we have in the deepest of ourselves. It's not creating something big that costs a lot of money or will create a lot of money. It's about something big that has so much sense in your life, for your kids, for your family, for your friends, that you feel alive, you know, fully aligned with yourself. It's not about an income. It's about a whole thing. And if you feel great with what you're doing, if you're really shining, money is just a consequence. It's like a world record. It's a consequence of your mindset, of your philosophy of life. As soon as you start shining, just because you are a beautiful woman, just because you are a beautiful man that really cherishes and loves what he's doing in his life, life changes around you, you know? So thinking big, and it's, from my point of view, it's about that first. And it's about dreaming, you know, not of making a lot of money.
No. No.
Dreaming big about you.
Yes,
as a human being.
Yeah, we touched on that already. Is starting from a place of fulfillment. And was it Howard Thurman that said, find out what makes you come alive and go and do that, because what the world needs is more people who've come alive.
Exactly. I fully agree, Jenny.
Marc, this has been absolutely amazing. This has really been lovely. We're going to share the links. We're going to share some awesome videos of the Zephyr project.
Videos and pictures. You're gonna have it all.
Gonna have it all. So we're going to share where people can connect with you and follow the project as well, yes, and be inspired. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming and talking and bringing it to such a real level. And making it so relatable and doable and attainable for anybody. So
yes,
merci,
it is.
Merci.
Merci beaucoup, Jenny. Many thanks to all of you. Thank you for your time. Bye.